Let's begin with Charlie Parker. You can't go wrong with Charlie Parker. So, relatively simple little phrase. Let's see how it works, what we can learn from it. So first of all, let's notice that he's playing basically a 1-6-2-5, right? It is a blues. I've just written F there. D7, 6 in F is often a dominant, G minor 7, etc. That's where this phrase ends. You got to sometimes decide when you're going to stop, otherwise you'll just end up transcribing and transcribing and transcribing. So what's happening? Well, this is typical stuff. When we have a D7 before a G minor, you take the G harmonic minor, say H for harmonic minor, right? On that D7. But you take that G harmonic minor scale from like D7 type notes, okay? It'll make more sense to the sound. And if you don't know that yet, even that doesn't matter. There's still some, some stuff you can learn here. But this is the G harmonic minor scale. We teach all these on Jazz Skills, of course. So you will see, if I put loads of those notes down, these are exactly the sorts of notes he's hanging around on that D7, right? G harmonic minor notes. So this is perfect practice for the kind of stuff we talk about. So first of all, I would not even worry about the turn that he's got in there, those 16ths. I would say da, dum, just that A and G. Which is what you end up with, right? So it'd be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then once you get good at that, that's a perfectly fine phrase as it is, then you can put in the 16ths. So 16th little turns like this will often just go up either a scale note or a half step and then back down. So what used to be becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So it used to be 1 and 2 becomes 1 E and a 2. 16ths counted 1 E and a, right? 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... So the whole phrase. I might even just take the dominant part, because dominants come up before minors all the time. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da-dee-da-da-dee-dum, like that. And just drill that. Might just take it without the 16th turn. And then see if I could put that in different keys, right? This is all stuff that you can, that will improve you, because suddenly you're going to start thinking about, first of all, that harmonic minor scale that you probably, don't know goes over a dominant before a minor unless you've thought about it or somebody's shown you or you've listened enough to figure it out, right? Most people who come need to be told that, right? And that's fine. So that's the first thing you'll learn. Then you'll think, oh, how am I going to know which note to start on? Well, this is the 5th of D. So now you're thinking about what's the 5th of something. Runs down to the 3rd of D with a turn if you want it. What happens when you get to the turn? Let's see. As soon as you get to the turn, what's this? A diminished. Actually, I even had written diminished under there. I've just written over it. It's a diminished. If you've been on Jazz Skills for just a little while or in lessons, you'll know that these diminished extend dominant chords. For example, if I go like this is D7. Some people are going to say, well, this is D7 flat 9. Nothing wrong with that, fine. But I like to know that this is a diminished chord in the right hand over a D7 shell, because this becomes invertible. You can invert a diminished, right? You can't take D7 flat 9 and say invert it, because what's going to happen? The D going to go to the top? It's not going to make any sense. But the diminished can be put in any position, and that's what he's using. There's the diminished, right, that goes with a D7. And what's beautiful here is on the ending, he's not landing on a G minor 7 note yet. He's putting in that little tension. All kinds of movements, advanced people, you can play on those. And then finally landing on the third of G at the end. Okay, so this is in the key of F. In the key of C, I want A7. Why do I want A7? Because that's the dominant that leads to chord 2, to D minor, right? So because this is all destined for chord number 2, right? Here's the 2. And we've got its dominant beforehand. So it would be A7 to D minor. So how would that work out? What's the fifth of A? E, right? So even newer people, you can do this sort of thing. It's great practice. The problem with how newer people tend to approach it is they always want to know, well, what do I do with it? How can I use it? I'm stuck and I can't remember it and all that. Just do it and get used to the sounds that we make, get used to the scales, get used to thinking about what is the fifth of something. And that's the point I'm always making about loving the work. If you don't love the work, you won't do it. You'll just want something back. But if you love the work, you do this stuff anyway. So, fifth of A, D harmonic minor scale, because we're headed for D minor. So on the A7, we'll be using the D harmonic minor. Up the diminished, remember? There's the diminished that goes with A7. And then finally lands on the third of the D minor. How? By surrounding it like that, okay? Surrounding it below and then above and then landing on it. So that's how that part would go. If I wanted to play the whole of it, I'd start on C. I hear it now. And again, 3, 4. B flat. It's exactly the same thing that I just put somewhere else, right? As soon as I hear it in my head, I can play it. So I think that's another thing that people do. Play stuff with their eyes or, you know, with their finger memory, but they're not really hearing it. When you hear it, something will happen and your mind will connect to what those notes are anyway. I'm not a neurologist, but I can tell you that it's important to play with your ears, with the music in your head. The audience are listening with their ears, so definitely don't just play with your eyes, right?